a thumbnail of just Ian in sweatpants. Just call it every episode sweatpants season.
Oh yeah, what, the Baby Carrot podcast.
The baby carrot. Brought to you.
Thanks for the idea, guys.
Brought to you by Kibbles and Bits.
Exactly. I didn't bring my fucking sunglasses today. That was not what it was.
That was exactly why we got.
It is right. It's either the thumbnail
views.
or it's the title. It has nothing to do.
Speaking of thumbnail, Ian sweatpants season. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Touche. He's got a point.
I'm
not even gonna argue it.
Had to tell Shay again. I'm like, he's my favorite Banks. Some of his comments, I legitimately like have to stop myself from laughing out loud at shit while I'm at work because I'm supposed to be working, and so I'm looking at my phone, and I'm like, no, that's fucking funny.
I feel like I'm losing Shay. Like he's got an Xbox. Like I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, Shay. Move on to the dark
Now
side.
to be fair, he is getting the Xbox for older shit. Like he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play Lost Odyssey and Jade Empire. I'm like,
I
oh,
mean,
they're
come
like
on,
original Xbox titles. Well, actually, I think Lost Odyssey was 360. But
That's the same game I played towards the end of the generation. I pick up the other one, and I get all the games that were exclusive to that one that I didn't get a chance to play.
my first game on the PS5 was a PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah.
Chrono Cross. First thing I did was download Chrono Cross.
Mine's was Skyrim. And then I went into the Mass Effect trilogy. I played 1, 2, 3, and then the new one, fuck that.
Right, exactly.
I tried to play it twice. I got 30 minutes into it both times, and I'm just like, I quit.
Nostalgia is a real thing.
Speaking of nostalgia, welcome to the Silver Kingdom podcast with your host, Nelson.
Ian.
Ed?
I tried to get all dramatic. I was moving
You
the
did.
microphone back and forth. You couldn't hear it.
You did. That's
But
why
if you're watching, you would see all that beautiful, in-your-face microphone action.
I just tapped out. That's all right.
Speaking of in-your-face action, I got to see Creed 3.
That's good. I spent all
Yes.
day cosplaying with Ed at
I
the Ren
know,
Fair.
I
Yes.
missed out. I missed
And
out.
I passed out from like heat stroke. I came home.
Jesus.
I ate like 3 plates of spaghetti and then fell asleep and didn't watch The Last of Us. So I have to
See?
catch up tonight.
See, so aren't you glad? Because I had to get up at 2 a.m. I was in Colorado to get to the airport by 5:30 a.m. because my wife made a mistake and she booked it at 7:30 a.m. our time. So when we got to Colorado, it translated into 5:30 a.m. their time, which is kind of a dick move, right?
Yeah.
So, but we
Dick move,
got to
Crystal.
the airport. Then it's an hour and a half there, 4-hour flight.
Oh.
Hour and a half from Fort Lauderdale back to here. It was just like, So by the time we were going to record the podcast, I was thrilled that you guys were so
Hey.
supportive.
Hey, I had a polyester breastplate on,
Yeah.
so I was the definition of marinated.
Yeah, now I had layers, but mine was actual natural fibers and leather, so it was breathable.
Right.
Ian had all the pleather and synthetic materials that trap body heat. I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, it looks good. It's just it's made by like Chinese slaves.
If it was a
sweatshop.
snowstorm outside, sir, you would have been the warmest.
I would have been
Yeah.
the warmest.
Yeah.
But in Florida, it was not practical, not at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Couple that with the layers and layers of gray hair dye and the contacts that were squeezing my eyeballs. I almost died. I literally almost died for the look. We should have had guards.
We did choose to, on a number of occasions, stand off to the side in the shade versus from a good angle to watch the show.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
to be in the shade.
Hey, man,
It was no joke. It was
that's
like,
why I'm saying we got to go Three Amigos. Those hats are basically like the equivalent of the Mexican hat. What do you call those?
Sombrero.
A sombrero, right? And we can be in our own shade, so to speak. And if we get the girls to walk around in like those pretty French dresses,
I
with
have an idea
umbrellas.
for a theme I want to try
The
next year.
parasols, I believe they're called.
Yeah.
I have an idea for a theme I want to try next year.
All right.
I want to go as greenskins. I want to do like an orc or goblin or ogre, whatever cosplay.
Well, greenskin is very controversial these days.
Oh yeah. Who gets offended? What? All right, Nelson, explain yourself.
All right. Well, first
Who out there is going to
first
get
they
offended?
removed Shrek the Ride from Universal Studios. I don't think we didn't catch on, Universal. You're putting in 2 minions? Go fuck yourself. They're yellow.
Okay,
and we're green.
Let's do a cosplay to honor the green skin folk.
Okay.
AKA goblin, orc, any troll, anything of that nature.
Okay.
You know? And
so you sound like you're really up on your green people. Name one besides Shrek.
Name him, Thrall, the leader of the orcish horde.
Okay.
Grommash, Hellscream, Ogrim, Doomhair.
Oh, shit.
You want to go into Tolkien? Okay, we can go. What the hell's the white orc? Azog the Defiler. I mean, I can name him if you want me to.
Sir. All right.
Lurtz, he's an Uruk-hai, but you know.
You needed to add some Star Trek characters.
Right.
If you wanted.
I got Captain Jean-Luc Picard and Worf. The guy with the nutsack on the forehead. Yeah. Worf. All right. What's his rank?
We did catch some Star Trek folk for Heroes and Villains Weekend actually.
Nice. Some Mandalorians, you said?
Although Ed was very pissed off because he was a Star Trek character, but he also had shorts and a Viking horn.
Dude.
He was like, wait a minute.
No.
Pick a genre, motherfucker.
I said maybe he's Star Trek, but he's vacationing on a planet that has a Ren Fair.
No.
Okay,
we know the standard shirt when you're on vacation. It's the V-neck that comes down to like the belly button that is way overly exposed. It's the Picard special.
Is the red shirt?
The man was wearing the command shirt and then shorts. Unacceptable.
What color is the red shirt? What rank is that? Is that the captain or is that?
That's command rank.
All right.
So that's
Who's the guy that dies every episode?
Those are the red shirts.
Oh wow.
In the original, it was the red shirts.
So Kirk had a yellow.
Because he was a captain. It was
Yeah.
goldish.
Technically, it was green, but when it translated onto the screen, by the time it got there, it was yellow.
Oh yes.
Now, the gold shirts in the next generation are the people that die all the time.
Okay, I was going to say, because Jean-Luc Picard had a red shirt.
Because that's the security on the next generation.
I say why
And the guy with the great beard. The guy with the great beard had a red, his second in command, or whoever the guy was.
Jesus Christ. What was his name? Lieutenant,
Not the
Commander,
reading rainbow guy. Not the reading rainbow guy with the visor.
Number one.
Number one. I know him as number one, but he does have a name.
You don't have it?
I don't
I
remember
know
it.
Jean-Luc Picard. I know Data.
Riker.
Commander
Riker.
Riker.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's where the term grew a beard came from, because that's where they say the show actually got better. So it's literally Hollywood lingo is when the show gets over and starts like working
They say
is
grow a beard.
when it grew a beard.
Okay, got it.
Okay, here's a controversial thing for you, Edward, because Ian doesn't know, right? So, Ian, if we were to give you advice on what show to start with, if you ever decided to
get into what, Star Trek?
Star Trek,
Okay.
Ooh.
I would go with Voyager, which is my favorite, which is the woman protagonist done right. Like, she
Janeway.
is still very feminine. She is the captain, but she's a badass, and she's a great leader. Like, they don't, it doesn't feel forced. Like, if you've seen 2 or 3 episodes with Janeway, you would be like, I would follow that woman into fucking war.
Would you say she's Ripley-esque?
I would absolutely say she's her own version of Ripley.
Because she is before a captain, she was a science officer.
Right.
So she actually
Like
gets
Ripley.
She gets in and actually can help solve. She's not just relying on the team to solve the problems,
Right.
as much as you do need to rely on the team.
Right. And she's not afraid to get dirty and physical. Like, she gets in there with the team and she does her thing.
Fist fighting Borg and stuff? Okay, good.
And it deals with her ship is lost in a part of space where there is no Federation to back them up. So they are the only ship out there that they have to depend on themselves.
What's the fundamental difference between Star Trek Voyager and Deep Space Nine?
Deep Space Nine is more of an exploratory show. Voyager is a show about survival. They're out there on their own, but they have the most technology.
Now, Deep
But they're
Space
still
Nine does
outnumbered.
get very good because they had it. It was set on a space station.
Okay.
They end up really delving
another show, by the way.
into war. So DS9 really deals with a whole war between the Dominion.
The Deep Space Nine gets into a war, but it is very highly based on culture,
Yes.
religion, and propaganda.
So it's like Earth.
Yes.
And them trying to balance that
Yeah.
with the views of how do we get collective worlds that have all of that baggage to also work together as one.
And you know how they do that? War. You have another sector of aliens coming into your sector to start a war and take everything that you own and be the boss. So that's how you get the people that hate each other forever to band together. War.
Yeah.
So Deep Space Nine is very good.
Who was the one gentleman we spoke to at the the Red Fair that said that Avatar is pretty much Fern Gully?
Yes. I want to say his name was Tim.
It might have been Tim.
Number 5 jersey.
Yes, he's a wonderful guy. We met at the Red Fair.
He was
actually
hilarious.
Follow us now. We gave him our information and everything.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was like, we're gonna shout you out because his explanation was perfect. He said, Avatar sucks. He's like, it's just Fern Gully's face. I was like, God damn. This guy's
It was fantastic because when I heard him say that, I leaned over to him like, you, sir, have the same opinion as me. I said it. I've already said it. That is exactly what the movie is.
He was actually very funny. The guy was really funny. He said, like, how do you tell the difference between... we don't have very many French listeners, so I'll tell this. He said, how do you tell the difference between a French officer and a German officer? The sunburns on their hands. I was like, holy shit. I was like, that was good. That was a little World War II jab. However, he did go on to say that some of the most fierce fighters in history were Napoleon's royal guard.
He was clearly a bit of a history buff because they were the most. I think they started one of the most decorated militaries, but then they hit that line.
Waterloo.
and they decided that they didn't want to fight anymore.
Yeah.
They wanted to eat
cheese.
cheese.
He said the way they were taken out was with they were tactically lured into a certain position and then killed with grape shot. And I was like, well, people aren't cannon proof.
Right. But just to finish this up real quick, I definitely would recommend Voyager for anybody who hasn't seen Star Trek. Eddie, what would you recommend?
I want to say The Next Generation.
That's what I was raised on. That's what my dad watched. Yeah. So that's what I watched.
It is a great show. It's the type of show that would take a savage person and make them rethink their life and be like, I can be a man of peace.
I loved listening to Patrick Stewart give orders. Like I felt like his voice and everything. I felt like he knew shit.
Yeah, he commanded properly. Like felt like he's in charge here.
He redefined what being a man was, though, because when you look at him, he was kind of puny. He was balding, British, but he was so intelligent, so forthright, and his command leadership skills were so on par that you were like, you know what? Yet another captain I would follow.
Which is why when he got in a wheelchair and became Professor X, I still was like, I would follow this guy. It was seamless. It was seamless for me.
Rolling. Yeah.
It was seamless for me.
Have you guys been watching the new season of Picard 3? I know you haven't.
I have not. Yeah, I'm not a Star Trek guy anymore.
Have you started Picard season 3?
No. I ended at season 2 and I was not happy.
Listen, Worf
Picard
beheading motherfuckers.
All right, I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
He comes in swinging.
I'm coming back. They had to because Picard season 2 was geriatric Star Wars at its finest.
Speaking of swinging, I heard you started watching The Last of Us again.
I did. I'm on episode 6 right now.
Good.
I got past my anger for episode 3.
Good.
And what they did to a national hero,
Ron Swanson.
Hey, he was still the man.
No,
he was. He was a power bottom.
He may have started off the man, but then he was strawberries.
Strawberries. He fell in love. He fell in love.
Not right here, honey. Oh, fuck out of here. No, listen. The show is great. The show is great.
It is.
They have decided in Hollywood that Pedro Pascal is daddy.
Yeah.
Because of the ongoing theme of him saving children.
I mean, the man is spearheading HBO, and he's spearheading Disney Plus right now.
Yeah, he can't lose.
The man is literally he's fucking leading two streaming things right now.
And for shits and giggles, he did a movie with Nic Cage and was like, I'm in.
He did a movie with Nic Cage that didn't suck.
Right. It was
Holy
fucking
shit.
great.
Now, I got a weird feeling that Renfield, I don't know. It could be hit or miss. It could be hit or miss.
It always,
I'm going to watch it.
It always is with Nick, though. It's always he swings for the fences every time.
I know, but for years it was just shit after shit. And
I was like, I still kept watching Renfield?
Yeah.
I
still kept watching his movies because I love Nicolas Cage. Because you're right. He swings for the fences every time he's up to bat.
You love to see it because when it's good, it's so good.
It really is. In the trailer for The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, whatever the title is, when I saw him and Pedro together, I was like, oh, it looks good. I hope it doesn't suck. I went and watched it in the theaters. I went and saw Nick. I didn't wait for it to come to the video. I went and saw a Nic Cage movie in the theaters, and it was great. I was like,
I seen it at home.
Wow.
And I loved it. I really did. Favorite Nic Cage movie? Throw them out.
Oh, my God. Con Air.
Two-Face.
Con Air.
Face off. Face off, yep.
Con Air for me.
Con Air, great one as well.
Con Air for me.
Don't say Ghost Rider.
Let me think here.
Don't you dare.
I was thinking,
don't you dare say Ghost Rider. Don't you dare.
I was honestly thinking of saying it because I couldn't think of something
Snake
funnier
Eyes.
than that.
You got Snake Eyes.
I couldn't think
Unbearable
of...
Weight.
Oh, wait. You're thinking of Gone in 60 Seconds.
Gone in 60
Gone in 60
Seconds. No, he
Seconds is a
did.
great
I
one.
couldn't think of the one with the
Snake Eyes as
bees
well.
because
yeah?
that shit
Oh,
is
wow.
ridiculous. What's the one with the bees?
Oh, fuck, The Wicker Man.
I never even seen it. I only seen that
Not the
scene.
bees! Not the bees! Ah, not the bees! It's the best, one of the best memes ever.
No. All right, Nic Cage movies. Here we go. The Old Way, Massive Talent, Pig. Some of these are really bad. Jiu-Jitsu,
Oh, yeah, I forgot he was in Jiu-Jitsu.
Primal,
Yeah.
Running with the Devil.
No, you're
Never
going
seen
through
any of these.
going through some of the recent ones. You got to go further back.
I'm trying, bro. I can't
what-
get past some of these
He was,
ugly.
he was in a recent one. It's like, it's
did
like a
a lot of
single word and
movies.
it's a girl's name.
USS Indianapolis, Snowden, girl's name, looking for
Go to
it.
Some of his recent stuff. It's
Mom and
Mandy.
Dad,
Mandy.
Mandy.
Oh, does that suck? Oh my God, does Mandy suck with Nic Cage? I had such hopes for it because it looked gory and shit. I got an hour into that movie and I was like, I'd rather fucking do heroin.
Oh, he
I'm
was in
turning this off.
Kick-Ass.
I'm turning-
I forget about that.
he
was
was
in
in
Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass.
He was in Kick-Ass. He played Batman loosely.
That was good.
Bangkok Dangerous.
That sucked.
Who decided on the title
That
for
sucked.
that movie? The
Well,
Knowing.
the city of Bangkok is very dangerous.
Yeah.
Watch Hangover 2. It's fucking
Knowing
dangerous.
wasn't bad. Knowing wasn't bad. Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yeah.
That was the last time he played a vampire, and I have to say, not impressed.
No, he was
Yeah,
a
now
wizard.
he's trying to do it again.
No, he was like a wizard vampire, wasn't
No,
he?
he was a wizard.
The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Sorcerer's
Would
Apprentice.
you say he was
a wizard?
vampire?
I say he was a vampire.
No.
The wizard
was-
Balthazar Blake, played by Nicolas Cage.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The what? The
Hold on a
what?
second.
Balthazar? No,
Let me finish.
Hold on.
The what? Balthazar?
It says the vampire
no,
wizard
no,
Balthazar
no.
Blake.
You
who
betrayed
also
yourself.
played-
You betrayed
who
yourself.
also
the first
played
time.
a vampire sees himself not in a mirror because he's a vampire,
That's not what it
but
says.
in a hidden temple.
You're making that up.
where there are
Now
no
you're talking
crosses.
Nickelodeon. You said hidden
There are
temple.
no crosses.
That's a different show, sir.
Because he's a vampire. I'm reading this from IMDb. This is
Sure.
Can you please stay
That
over
looks a
there?
little short for to say all that.
Who lost his mother when the pearls dropped on the floor in Manhattan.
No, now you're all over the place. No way.
So anyway, Pedro Pascal, right?
No, you're all, no.
Hold on, I gotta get away from this vampire wizard shit.
Favorite
Nobody
Nick Cage
really
movie
cares.
is definitely Con Air.
Con
You know
Air,
what?
that's a good
Con Air.
one.
That's
I
a
can
great
go
movie.
with Con Air, but you got Face Off is a fucking great movie. Him and John
What the fuck
Travolta.
is he? Cameron Poe. He's
And
Cameron
John-
Poe. He's trying to get home to
Yeah,
his baby
man.
girl because he killed that guy in a bar fight.
Fuck.
Oh, such
All
a
right.
great fucking
Okay,
movie.
all right.
John Malkovich is in that. Cyrus the Virus. Oh my
I
God.
forgot Malkovich was in that.
Steve Buscemi plays Garland Green, the serial killer that drove through like 6 states wearing a woman's head as a hat. He sings to that little girl
I
in
would
the
believe that.
sandbox.
I would believe that.
Steve
because
Buscemi plays a serial killer. He plays
Steve
himself.
Buscemi is a fucking wild man.
The plane's going down. He's singing. He's got the whole world in his hands. And the guy across from him is like, "Shut the fuck up, you lunatic! We're gonna die." They land a plane on the Vegas Strip.
I hate you, Nicolas Cage. You hijacked the podcast. You're not even here and you're affecting our show.
Oh yeah, yeah. Nicolas Cage. Normally this guy's shitting on Robin Williams. Don't worry. Fucking beloved American icon who's dead.
I'm pretty sure he shit on himself.
Suicide joke.
Is that
Classy.
It's very classy.
Classy.
Very classy. He wasn't no Miss Doubtfire at that time. So, we're gonna.
I'm taking my Mandalorian pants off.
These are really good.
They are good.
actually. Yeah, yeah.
I forget how good goldfish are. Just simple and
They're Mandalorian themed goldfish. by
good.
the
They
way.
go with my pants.
They do.
Mm.
So, The Last of Us. I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna finish watching it. I believe the last episode came out this Sunday. I didn't have a chance
Came
to
out
watch
last
it
night.
yet.
Couldn't watch it. Heat stroke.
Yeah, I'm on like episode 5
I'm gonna
right
finish
now.
that up. You know, one thing that we forgot to talk about was Vox Machina's ending.
Oh,
I was-
serious, proper cliffhanger of an. Are we done with Last
cliffhanger?
of Us? Are we just moving on past it? That's it. We're
I mean, we'll end it with saying I think it's the best show on television right now. I would say that it's the best thing HBO's produced, and I'm even putting it up against Game of Thrones.
No way.
You don't think?
I wouldn't put it up against Game of Thrones. I wouldn't even put it up against Peacemaker.
Oh, I'd put it ahead of Peacemaker.
No, I mean, come on. Go back and watch Peacemaker again because
No, it's different vibes.
Peacemaker was
it's different
fucking
vibes.
amazing.
Peacemaker was great, but it's like a funny vibe.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
you
a
said-
Last of Us is Last of Us, the first episode, I had fucking heart palpitations. I was like, what the hell is going on here? Like,
yeah,
I mean,
it's a whole
I don't wanna-
different. It really is a whole different genre.
Okay, all right. So
The thing with his daughter, and when shit started getting crazy,
Oof. Yeah.
it was a movie. It was
Yeah.
a movie, dude. I was
Yeah.
on the edge of my seat. I was like, holy
okay.
shit. Like,
the
Yeah,
only,
the first episode was a whole fucking movie. It was an hour and a half.
the only time I
it
felt
had me drawn in. I was like, oh my God.
that
like,
much drama for like a father-daughter scene was in and it was a shitty movie, but it was the War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he had to go in the room with the other guy.
Yes, because
And
the guy was acting
Yep.
crazy.
Yeah.
And his daughter's on the other side, and I was just thinking the whole time, I was like, "Fuck, I hope he kills him." And you know it's Tom Cruise.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
that motherfucker.
And that was Andy Dufresne.
Yeah,
That was
man.
the actor who played Andy Dufresne. That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was a
Can't think of his
wild
name
scene.
right
That
now.
was one of those where it's becoming like
Tim
oh,
Robbins, that's who it
it's
was.
him
Tim
or
Robbins.
it's him or us. And
Yeah.
something has
Well,
to
we
happen.
all know in real life, Tom Cruise is 5'5". Tim Robbins is like 6'4".
Yeah.
That's not going to go too well.
Well,
you know.
But you know
Staying
what?
on
Look,
the apple boxes.
couple
Yeah.
it with like you gotta save your daughter's life. Like
You better pull some fucking
you better pull some
Maverick
shit out of your
hat.
pocket. Yeah, man. You better Top Gun that motherfucker.
I guess Andy Dufresne was raped in Shawshank Redemption, so never mind.
Oh
Did
yeah, okay,
crawl,
all right.
crawl through a river of shit.
He did crawl through a river of shit.
Yes.
Mile long. Wow.
Yeah, that sucks.
my only issue I had with the third episode was like, we're only 3 episodes in, and you're doing like a bottle episode with non-canon. Like these are canon characters, but non-main storyline characters.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Generally, you do a bottle episode to save money,
yeah,
but you can't
No.
even really call this a bottle episode because it's a whole new set.
yeah.
Typically, for a bottle episode, it started with like things like Star Trek. It would be on the ship, so they're using the same sets that they
Right.
always use. So they're not location scouting. They're not doing sets. They're not paying crew to move different sets around.
Mm-hmm.
They go minimum cast. Only the people that are paid that have to be here. So they cut out extras and all that other stuff. And it's a way to save money so they could do a bigger story 1 or 2 episodes later or after 1 or 2 episodes previous where they spent over budget somewhere else. So it's a little weird for a show where you know, like they got fucking unlimited budget, but they're doing kind of a
It was
semi.
fan service. It was fan
It
service.
was.
They made a left
The
turn
whole,
in the gay sex.
here's what,
Yeah.
here's
I
what
liked
they
it.
could have done. Here's what they could have done. Look, I didn't hate the episode for what it was. I hated the episode because it didn't move the story along.
Correct. That's
So
where I was
what
going
they could
with
have
it.
done, and I would have appreciated more, was the way they did it with Sandman. Sandman told the whole story, and then they're like, "Here's a bonus episode for you fans." It was a little bit of cartoon in the beginning,
cat
and then a
episode
story
we
cat
never wanted.
episode.
It kind of needed to be further along in the season.
Right.
Third
Or
episode in, it's
a bonus
too,
episode.
It's too early.
They
Or
moved the
bonus
story
episode.
a little.
15 minutes.
They got their car.
15 minutes.
They resupplied.
Yeah.
You could have done all of that in 15
They found
minutes.
the dead gay
Yeah.
bodies, probably holding hands.
Yeah,
Or in
no,
some
I mean,
other.
like-
They said don't go in the room.
Yeah.
Oh, probably
Yeah.
so.
I mean, for like
I'd have kicked the door.
They probably died attached at the butt.
I'd have kicked the door in.
for an episode of television, it's
Filmed
an
it.
excellent, well done episode of television. But for an episode of The Last
Yeah.
of Us, it was too early in the show's run and in the season for a bottle episode of non-mainline characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got away with it purely on the star power of Ron Swanson. What is his real name that we keep calling him
Ron
Ron
Swanson.
Swanson? It can't be his real name.
Ron's real name. Ron Swanson.
Fuck it.
I mean, it was a little unbelievable that he moved that diesel generator by himself. Those motherfuckers are heavy.
Hey, he had
The last time-
100%
He
raw.
had American ingenuity.
Listen,
He had American gay
he had
hairy
America
chest
behind
power.
him. You better take that back,
The
boy.
the last
you better take
time-
it back right now, boy.
the last time I had one of those installed in my building,
Yeah.
it took a tractor trailer, two crews of F-350s that lifted it off the ground, rolled it towards place, and cranes to fucking drop it in. And this man
Yeah.
did it with a regular ass
No.
truck.
Hey.
No, sir. No, sir. He did it with a John Deere.
yeah.
He did it with a,
Yeah.
a
I
mean,
John
come on.
Deere
I
and
bet
American
you the guys that were
ingenuity.
moving that were straight, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's your problem right there.
that's
There's your problem.
I mean, he's quite the engineer to get all that all set up the way he did.
Goddamn right he is.
But
He did it with some Budweiser and a John Deere.
it
And a
really,
whole case of Uber Lube.
Now that I believe.
Ron Swanson approved.
it
Yes.
really could have been in almost any post-apocalyptic show
Walking
because
Dead.
it was so detached from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like we were with that character in episode 1, in episode 2, where we've at least heard him on the radio or where Joel interacted with him in some meaningful way. It really was just so early in the show for that character to be like, and they're gone.
Yeah. But look, still, I think the show is very good. Do I think it's the best thing HBO's produced? No. I think
I mean, best all time, I wouldn't say. Maybe the original Game of Thrones.
the original Game of Thrones.
But I would put it above Game of Thrones House of Dragons, and I have it above Peacemaker.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of like a video game adaptation, though,
It's unbelievable.
fantastic.
It's
fucking
unbelievable.
amazing.
It's
No, and
unbelievable.
look, the cast is fantastic too, but as far as HBO is concerned, it's definitely Game of Thrones, and then I would put Peacemaker, and then I would actually put a show that you hated above it.
What?
The Watchmen.
Oh yeah,
You hated it.
Yeah, and
I never watched the show.
Yeah,
I
and
only saw the movie.
I love the movie, and I also love I read the graphic novel cover to cover.
I didn't hate The Watchmen. I watched it again after you said you hated it, and I was like, huh.
I get it. Tulsa was a disaster.
I get it. It was.
I fucking understand. It's not taught in American history classes where it should be. I get it. It didn't fucking belong in The Watchmen. I missed that chapter.
Do you miss? Do you miss? Did you not remember
the
original Watchmen movie?
I remember the original Watchmen movie. I also remember the manga. I read the whole goddamn graphic novel cover to cover multiple times.
Listen,
Tulsa was never in there.
Just because you rubbed your face on the blue penis picture doesn't mean you were a fan of the Watchmen.
I mushed my face into that blue penis. One of the greatest
waka
blue
waka
penises ever drawn.
Waka waka waka.
I get it, HBO. White man bat. I get it. Fuck, you ruined the Watchmen for me. Jesus. I get it. I fucking get it. I voted for Obama twice. Why did you ruin the Watchmen? Jesus. I'm not evil. I'm sorry.
All right, look, The Last of Us.
I'm fucking sorry.
The Last of Us is. I'm sorry for you. The Last of Us is great.
I actually like Remember the Titans. I love that movie. Denzel Washington is one of my favorite actors.
That movie was great.
It was a great movie.
Remember the Titans?
It's one of the greatest movies.
Listen.
It's one of the greatest sports movies ever.
There are a few movies that really hit me in the feels.
Remember the Titans did.
Saving Private Ryan.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were about to say sports movies.
That was one of that hit me in the feels.
That's the greatest war movie ever.
That movie with Will Smith where he was really poor, Pursuit of Happiness.
That's a great movie.
That scene where he had to like sleep with his son in the bathroom.
Hold the door shut.
Woo!
Yeah.
That hurt my heart.
Yep.
And then I would have to say Vin Diesel in The Nanny. Hold your beer.
I thought you were about to say Patch Adams or something. I was like, fucking, let him alone. Let him the fuck alone.
I was going to go after Val Kilmer.
I was going to say, I was like, stop. I know when you're going to turn into something wrong. Stop. Jesus. But you cannot put The Watchmen ahead of fucking... You think The Watchmen, the show, was better than
Okay,
Last
you know
of
what?
Us?
I'll give The Last of Us and then The Watchmen. And then
All right,
my
that's
fifth on HBO is Titans. I like Titans. I don't know what people had the problem with.
Trigon.
Okay.
Get that CG Trigon
They
walking
did
out.
Animation aside, the show was really,
the show
really
was good. I think part of it was people kept feeling like they're retelling season 1 and season 2. They kept kind of like they would progress the characters forward, and then the next thing would happen and be like, and we're all the way back the fuck over here again because we haven't learned any lessons. Let's learn it again.
Yeah. But I mean, that seems to be the reoccurring theme of like Hollywood in general. It's like,
Well, it's definitely
this movie really sucked, but we're gonna remake it, and it's gonna be so much better.
It's definitely a reoccurring thing with Disney. Disney doesn't make new things anymore.
Listen, well,
I mean, your favorite looking trailer, Peter Pan and Wendy.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be great. That's
it
gonna be
looked
wonderful.
really fucking bad.
That's gonna be wonderful.
And like you pointed out, how dare you make the Lost Boys include girls? They specifically had a sign that said no girls allowed.
To be fair,
on their fort.
To be fair, I am okay if they have female members, but the fact that they need to point it out in the trailer. Not even the fucking, like, the trailer.
It's almost like...
not all boys. Yes, so. I'm like, come on.
I think it's
don't
because...
have to force it down my throat. And I even knew it. Before Tinkerbell showed up, I knew it wasn't going to be Tinkerbell. I was like, oh, here we go. What is it? Oh, knew it. You don't know what I'm talking about? Watch the trailer. It's fine.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I gotta say, and some of the
Peter Pan has gone Bollywood.
It's fantasy.
Apparently.
And
I don't
some
care.
of the animation, even in the trailer.
My name is Peter Pan.
for the trailer that's supposed to be selling you on going to see the movie, some of the animation was definitely not final and not looking good.
They She-Hulked it.
Some of it really, like, obviously CGI.
I think they partially bang on bad press sometimes. Because they did it with The Little Mermaid.
Sonic did it.
They did it with
they really did it with Velma.
They did it with...
Oh, fuck.
That was bad.
Velma
I don't
sucked.
think Velma was Disney.
That's HBO. But that is a show that they clearly signed for 2 seasons before the first episode got like written down.
And now they're like, oh,
and they're forced to have to do a second season because I don't know anyone anywhere that has given it any kind of positive review at all.
But to be fair, they were banking on Mindy Kaling's ability to bring people in and her ability to write. She has had success. She has done really good things. She shit the bed.
You took one of the most beloved American cartoons ever and just shit on the source
material?
It didn't work out?
You can't do that. You can't do that.
Every joke is a meta, inside, point to itself, explain the joke. It's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
Every joke is quite literally the same joke all the way through.
Yeah. Okay, so fuck that show. Back to Vox Machina.
Yes.
The season was fantastic from start to end. I loved the story arc.
Yeah.
The cliffhanger had me, no lie, for the next 2 weeks, like, there better be more episodes.
Nope.
Yeah, it was weird.
There better be more episodes.
It was weird the way they dropped it, because they didn't drop it one episode at a time. It was like 3 at a time.
Chameleon dragon just like hiding in the council. I'm like, well, what happened to the real lady?
Yeah.
How did that dragon just get into the meeting? How did this happen? And the people aren't dead. They're just knocked out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I like what they did.
That's very nice of the dragon for not doing that.
I mean, it looks like they stopped there because that's where they had finished with writing. So, or they were like, we're gonna do we know we got a strong enough show that we do a proper cliffhanger, because you don't see those too much anymore.
You don't.
They
People don't have
like
patience for that shit
They
anymore.
like to wrap it up at the end of the season, because if it doesn't end up coming back, they don't want fan complaints that, hey, you didn't give us some kind of an ending here.
Also, shout out to Pike for having like the best healing magic ever. Like, that team got fucked up this season.
Oh yeah.
And she just kept healing. Like, she was like. If that was like Heroes of the Storm, she'd have been the MVP of the game. Like, she was healing her ass off.
Yeah.
Like, Grog died 100 times in that show, and she just kept healing him.
But
Just healing him back.
Scanlan showed the most growth as a character.
Between the Sphinx episode and then finding out about like a certain family member, he definitely did. And then the end, he came through in the end.
Yeah,
I like what they're doing with his character. They're
That fight with that dragon, oh shit!
That shit was wild.
Oh shit!
That shit
Oh
was
man,
wild.
they outdid the final fight of last season. I don't know how they were gonna do it, but they did it. I was like, oh man.
I'm looking forward to what they're gonna be putting out next, and I do hope that they get more IPs, like you were saying.
Yeah, the crew from Critical Role, who's behind this, supposedly they got signed on for some other things on Amazon, so they're going to be doing other shows besides this with them.
Okay.
And at the moment, I mean, they're doing excellent stories in, the world of Dungeons and Dragons, but they've been doing that for like a decade now. Yep. These are all actors and voice actors. This is quite literally their profession, and it seems like they were just kind of given the reins to tell their story.
Right.
Here's something funny that we noticed in today when we were watching all of these trailers. More companies are saying they're going to dial back the amount of content they're putting out. Disney, Netflix,
quality
Hulu.
over quantity is
that's a good
the
idea.
new phrase.
Apple Plus is seeing this, to me, as a way to charge forward, because when we were looking at a lot of the trailers, and some of them look like pretty damn good shows, but I refuse to get another streaming service. I'm like, I've got the ones that I want, but now they're
Apple will
putting
get
out
nothing from me.
some serious content to try to combat these already big players.
Yeah, that's several shows and movies that they're putting out there, but they honestly have nothing.
Yeah.
So anything that they put out is new, because everything they've put out thus far has been a complete whiff. Nobody's talking about anything that Apple is doing. So
they had that one show with Tom Hanks. But I don't even
they also had another show with fucking what the hell's his name? Jason
yeah, that
Momoa.
sounds amazing. Wonderful.
See?
They've had
Jason
nothing.
Momoa.
Apple has had nothing. It's a loss leader. It's a fucking tax write-off for them. And they need to do something to justify people to buy another streaming service,
Paramount
because
Plus, too.
between HBO, between Netflix, and between Disney, you're hard pressed to need to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
So then you're like, well, maybe I need Amazon Prime also. Okay. Well now
you
you're
have
up
to
to
have Amazon
4.
Prime. You have to.
Yeah.
So like, how many
That's how I get all
streaming
my shit.
services are you gonna be the number 5 streaming service?
By that time, you're now paying the same amount you were paying for cable.
Oh, that was the goal.
But at least
I see HBO. I see what you're doing. You're creeping up.
Yeah.
I get like every couple months I get an email. We're adding 75 cents on your subscription. I see what you're doing there.
Like,
I know what you're doing.
don't you like Harley Quinn?
I do. I like Harley
Don't you
Quinn.
want more of her?
I do like Last of Us. I guess. I get it. I'm not getting rid of
They
you.
got
I'm just saying.
one Citadel, which looks like Jason Bourne with a woman.
Yes.
Nope.
It's quite literally Jason Bourne with a woman.
It really is. And they had the very memorable leader of the Eternals.
Yes.
As the
I mean, we
cast
didn't
host.
have to
that
look
was a
up to
very
see who he
memorable
was
film.
at all. We were all spot on. That's the guy from Eternals. Not a second missed.
Nope.
Now, that was a show. Ghosted, I think, is a movie, and that was with Chris Evans.
And that's Apple Plus.
Yeah.
That's Apple again.
And that's
And that's
the one
horseshit
show
because that's a movie
and,
based on the
that I-
premise
that
that
I
someone
wanna
would
see.
ghost Chris Evans.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Yeah, that's horseshit.
Yeah, you're calling,
That's
ladies.
horseshit.
You're calling
Now,
him back.
Listen,
You're texting him.
orcs,
Yeah.
we believe in.
now,
Right?
Yeah.
Superman, we believe in.
Yeah.
Chris Evans getting ghosted by a woman
No.
who's
No.
straight?
Ladies, you're
Fuck
texting.
outta
You're
here.
texting him an hour after the date.
Yeah.
You know goddamn
Yes.
well.
Yes.
No, there's no way.
it
Yes.
looks like it's intended to be an action comedy, and if they could do it, more power to them. Some of the folks from Deadpool are behind it, and I don't
Yeah,
know. I
yeah.
enjoy Deadpool.
Yeah, it looked good.
Deadpool's pretty damn good.
And then there's another one with Tobey Maguire with a long ass name that I can't quite pronounce. 'Cause
Looks
I
like
saw
shit.
it briefly, and I started writing it, and like I give up.
looks like shit.
That
It's
sucks.
something
That
like
sucks for Toby.
It is global warming. The movie.
yeah, people.
It is like
people eater
the
or something
sea is
like that.
rising. They're building walls.
Day After
Water
Tomorrow?
is everywhere.
Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah.
But the slow version. The
Yeah.
water's slow. So like everyone's wearing galoshes in church because it's
Wasn't-
3
wasn't-
inches
wasn't-
underwater.
Wasn't The Day After Tomorrow like a 2.5-hour movie?
Well, Day After Tomorrow
How
was.
did they make that
Yeah,
slower?
but that shit hit
Day
hard.
After Tomorrow
did.
was like the instantaneous, like, oh shit, if everything goes wrong quickly.
Quick freeze. Quick
Yes.
freeze. That was good.
A good family movie that I thought would be interesting to take the kids to that don't mind a little bit of a scare is The Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, they're
Oh, that trailer looked
attempting
good. That trailer looked
another
okay.
reboot of the Haunted Mansion.
Got to make that
franchise.
ride relevant.
Yes.
Got to make that ride
Yes.
relevant.
Yes, and you know what? It looked funny. It looked like something that I wouldn't mind sitting down with my niece and hanging and watching. But would I watch it by myself? Would I go to the movies see it? Nah. I'll wait
Yeah.
for it to come out
Something
on
similar
DVD.
to that. Something similar to that. If you have Netflix and something in that realm, a good family movie is We Have a Ghost. That movie that just came out on Netflix.
That I
I
put it
watched
on
it.
my list to watch it.
I watched
was
it.
it?
It is good. It's
All
a
right.
wholesome family movie. It's the guy, I can't think of his name, from Stranger Things and Violent Night. He plays Santa.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
also the police chief
Yeah,
in Stranger
yeah.
Things. He does a excellent job in this. He's the ghost, the deceased guy living in this house. This family moves in. The guy that plays the Falcon is the father. And it's this inner city family that moves into this house that's been abandoned, and this spirit's in the attic, and the story behind it is actually really good. You get invested in the story, and it's family friendly. It doesn't
Yeah.
go over above
Okay.
PG-13.
All right.
It's good. And I watched it the whole way through with my roommates.
It's
and loved
amazing
it.
that these things are dropping like the day they give us a trailer.
Yeah.
It's like, here's the trailer. Oh, and
It's
the
out.
thing is basically out now. They're not letting
It's intentional.
any anticipation. Yeah. They're banking on that looks interesting enough. Let me go watch it now versus trying to build up anticipation for when it comes
So
out.
here's
You don't
the,
have to plan to buy tickets and go
right.
to the theater.
But here's the debate: is it banking off the fact that they think people's attention spans are that short, or are they inevitably creating people's attention spans to be shorter by doing things like this? Because we used to get months in advance for movies coming out, and you would anticipate.
These have already killed our attention
Anticipate.
span.
Yeah, phones
anticipate.
don't help. But here's an interesting
Yeah,
thing.
this is true.
For as much as people are looking at little content like that, look at how podcasts work.
Right.
Regularly, 30 minutes to 3 hours long.
Right.
I mean, if you get a Kevin Smith on your show, you got a 5-hour podcast, and people listen to the whole goddamn thing.
I
So
do.
It
I
really
love his podcast.
it really comes down to, is it relevant and is the person entertaining?
Yeah.
It's a new form of media where you're giving a 10-second clip, but a lot of those quick things are built on the back of that's the way the algorithm is set up to give you something quick and send you to the next video. And if it's bad, it doesn't matter because 10 seconds later, there's another one. And the idea is to just hook you in because you're like, that one sucked, that one sucked, that was okay. And you're not realizing the time go by because it's such short clips.
Right.
You're just scrolling and letting the
Yeah.
next one be fed
It's true.
to you.
It's true. Look, I know Ian really wanted to talk about this again. So, Creed 3. I'm going to tell you something.
It actually didn't do
Nelson
bad.
paid
at the
for
box
that.
I'm
He
gonna-
paid for that movie. He wants to talk
Hey,
about
you
it.
gotta talk about it.
He was one of the $100 million that movie made.
I went to watch it and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it like I do a Rocky movie. You go in there, there's going to be a setup, there's going to be a couple of fights.
Is Rocky in it?
And Rocky's going to win at the end. Right? No, Rocky actually is not in this movie.
Is he dead in
He
this
wasn't asked to come back for this one because
They're trying to branch out past him
and move on with the story.
If he's in it, then he's a big chunk of the story.
Correct.
And that takes away from their ability to tell a new story.
Right.
Which is why they told the very new story of a black man going to prison, getting out, and going to boxing.
But here's the thing.
Very new story.
Jonathan Majors.
Super original.
Jonathan Majors.
He's a bad motherfucker.
He's a fantastic fucking actor. I'm watching this thinking like, yo, he should play Mike Tyson in a Mike Tyson movie.
Oh, that's interesting.
He is built like him. He delivers the anger. He delivers the ferocity of a Mike Tyson. I know too late, but in this movie, that's basically kind of his fighting style, how he acts. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He just wants to murder people in the ring. He's not necessarily he's pretty boxing savvy, but he's banking on his savagery in the ring. Like he's a dirty boxer. Not to give too much away, I really enjoyed the movie.
Who wins
It's excellent
It
actors.
wasn't like
who wins
And
the fight?
I enjoy those actors in the other things they've done. It's just I saw the trailer and I just went, meh.
Who wins
To be
the fight?
fair,
Who wins the fight?
it's just another Rocky.
I'm not
movie.
gonna see it. Who wins the fight?
It's like the Fast and the Furious. It's just
Speaking of
another Fast and the
John
Furious
Jones.
we
movie.
do gotta talk about
First
that.
round.
We do gotta
He
talk about
lost. I can't believe it.
that. No. Who wins the fight? Michael B. Jordan or Kang?
Oh, Kang. Kang wins the fight every time. But he didn't fight Kang.
He just sends another version of himself.
Who'd he fight? Jonathan Lang, the son of Clubber
say
Lang?
his name. Say his name, Ian.
Say whose name?
Say his name.
Majors? Shut the hell up.
No, but interestingly enough, in the movie, who makes an appearance is who's the Russian that he fought?
Drago?
Drago's son makes an appearance in the movie to train Apollo.
Interesting.
Great.
To train Apollo to fight Jonathan Majors.
Now it's just a mishmash. Of
Now we're
Rocky's
just going in
excellence.
circles.
The guy who plays Ivan
There's a
Drago's
gutter.
son, though.
There's a gutter below the Rocky franchise, and that's where Creed 3 is filmed live. Like,
I tell you what, though, the acting abilities of Jonathan Majors can sell almost any
He's
movie. What they
fantastic.
need to do is make a movie up to his standards.
they should bring back Carl Weathers as a robotic father, Apollo Creed. Like his body is resurrected.
Shut off
And
his mic.
He fights his
Shut
son.
off his mic.
He fights his son in
Shut
Creed
it
4.
off, Eddie.
He fights his son in Creed 4. I'm all for it. I would
He
watch
fights
that.
a robotic.
Yeah. Yeah. He fights his robotic dad in space.
I can't.
Vin Diesel is the fucking referee.
I'm in.
Exactly. But yes, you're right, Ed. This weekend for you sports fans,
John Jones,
John Bones
first
Jones.
round.
He
first
submitted
Gane.
Cyril in like 2 minutes. He made it
Okay,
look
so
like
what happened?
he took 3 years off. He bulked up to heavyweight. People critiqued his physique. They said he looks a little fluffy.
He said it's not a bodybuilding competition.
That's exactly what he said. He went in there. He took out the #1 heavyweight in the world. It took Francis Ngannou 5 rounds and a split decision. John Jones did it in 2 minutes.
Got him against the cage, moved around.
Took him down. 1-arm guillotine.
Yeah.
What?
2 minutes in, got up, walked away. You could see Tom Brady through the cage going, "Holy shit!" It's you can't even argue it now.
Is he the pound for pound best fighter?
No, I wouldn't say pound for pound because pound for pound you gotta look at. I would still say it's Volkanovski because even though Islam Makhachev beat Volkanovski,
Yeah.
Volkanovski did so well at 145 pounds, going up against Islam and doing better than any lightweight has done. I still give the pound for pound title to Alexander.
I was expecting Jones to win.
I didn't expect that.
I was
Not like
I was
that.
talking to Margot about it.
Yeah.
She was asking who I think is going to win. I was like, I think Jones is going to win, but I am just tired of the bullshit that surrounds him.
Yes. He's
And
his worst enemy.
it's exactly what it's like. I just hit and run, the drugs. It's just
I've been.
Do you think the chaos creates the man?
I don't know.
I-
I hope he's matured through it, but it's hard to say that he is because how many times he's fucked up.
I need to see like 3 fights in a row where he doesn't run over a pregnant lady, and
Or test
maybe
positive.
maybe things will be okay.
You know, they moved the needle on those. What are they?
picograms.
Picograms.
Yeah.
Higher so that people like John Jones can fight without any
I mean,
issues.
But-
he grew
some-
up in the sport. He's
some
the
of that-
youngest champ we've ever seen.
Some of that is that they to do the testing, the drugs got so sophisticated that this testing had to keep up with it. And it got to a point where for certain chemicals, it surpassed it to a point where like we're finding things that, well, it's, fat oxidized. So you didn't really do anything, but hey, you cut down weight for a fight. and now you hit that threshold of where it was within your body, and
Right.
it's now testing positive.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily, and it's hard to say even with John Jones. I'm not surprised if he was on some shit, but the reality is the way that some of those testings are done. If you lose a tremendous amount of weight and you hadn't lost a tremendous amount of weight for a number of years, shit is gonna pop up on your test if it was something that was fat soluble or stored
I
in the
remember
body
at
fat.
the weigh-ins, he was saying all kinds of shit. Like someone asked him how much he was benching, and he was like, "Yeah, my bench is around 500 pounds." I was like, "Dude, shut the fuck up! You're gonna test you again. Shut the hell up!" Like,
yo, how much your girl weigh?
I was
That's how much I
about to say-
bench.
I was like,
bitch.
dude, I was like, shut
That's
up.
what I would answer if I was
yeah.
John Jones.
Don't be talking about how much you bench 500 pounds and then
Yeah,
they're
I
gonna
think-
piss test you on the
Yeah.
spot.
I mean,
Shut up.
benching your body weight puts you at like the top 5% of people. If
Right.
you bench
This
over
motherfucker's benching 500 pounds. Dude, stop. Shut
over
up.
over 3 puts you in like less than 1 percentile of people.
But for the record, I don't believe it. I want to see him bench 500
Yeah,
pounds.
he's probably
I don't believe
boasting.
it. That's
Okay, but what about
I mean, it's hard to believe with
Valentina
tiny ass calves.
Shevchenko
Upset of the night.
versus Alexa Grasso?
upset of the night.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
One,
Valentina's your girl, right?
yeah, one spinning back kick. She was winning the fight. She threw an ill-timed spinning back kick. Alexa Grasso, like lightning, took her back, got in the choke, put her out. She fought for a while, but it put her out. So that broke an eight title defense streak.
But there goes
Number
to
one
show
Now-
anybody can have an off night in the office.
That's huge for Alexa. It's
That's
huge
one
for
of the
her.
things with MMA. There's so many facets that one mistake is all it takes. You don't get, I mean,
No, zero margin for error.
you don't
Zero.
get a chance. You don't get a standing 8. It's not boxing. You don't get an 8 and they shake you off and you go again because you made a mistake. You made a mistake, you're getting choked. Someone's on your back.
Reminded
Good
me
night.
of Chris Weidman versus Luke Rockhold. Same fucking thing. Chris
Yeah.
Weidman's a wrestler. He threw a stupid ass spinning back kick. Luke Rockhold took him down, pounded him out.
Yeah.
He was never the same since. That one spinning back kick ruined his career.
We've all seen the video of the asshole thumbs upping to mom and then the dude getting the rear naked choke because he let go of the hands at the last 10 seconds to fucking be an asshole.
Yeah, you can't. It was a surprise because I know Valentina's technical, and I'm not. She's 100 times better than I'll ever be in my life. But it just looked like an ill-timed.
You think it was a mistake or overconfidence?
I think it was overcome. I don't know what the hell it was. She was up on the card. She was winning 2 rounds to 1. It's in the 4th round. She throws a spinning back kick, shitty timed.
All right,
That was not good.
let me
Alexa, though, props to her. She took that back like an assassin. It was
Yep.
instantaneous.
Listen, that she was doing her job.
She did it. She
And
shocked the world.
In your opinions, all time, who is the most exciting fighter you watched, in your opinion, in the
Ooh,
UFC?
Clay Guida.
Oh my god,
That
dude.
motherfucker-
That's a
He
good one.
never fucking disappointed.
He had
was
one
never
job.
disappointed.
Go in there and bang. That's all that man
Win or
did.
lose, yeah. Win or lose.
Win or lose, he was always excited.
Chuck Liddell.
To me, oh wow, okay, yeah. Chuck Liddell was a fucking barn burner. Yeah.
Chuck Liddell, you couldn't hold him down, and you knew those hands were going to touch you. It was only a matter of time. At the end of his career, look, they all have a time.
The chin starts
But
to
when
go.
he was in his prime, the
was a- he was
Iceman
a-
Chuck
he was a
Liddell
motherfucker.
forced the rednecks to come out of the backwoods
Yes.
with their mullets and their beer, and they're like, "We knocking motherfuckers out now too." He made a brand. Affliction was Chuck Liddell. He threw that shirt on. Everybody was like, "Fuck that."
If you think
I
your
want
sister
that.
is attractive, you probably own a Chuck Liddell shirt.
Bonus.
Yeah.
Clay Guida wasn't in all the UFC games because he refused to cut his hair and the programmers couldn't program properly for his hair.
Excellent.
So he was like, fuck you, I'm not cutting it.
I don't blame him.
Hey, for me, probably the most exciting fighter I would say is Uberim, not Overeem. I mean Uberim. I mean horse meat. I mean straight out of K1.
Okay.
The guy that outweighed Brock Lesnar. That fucking
So
guy.
you're talking about the contracts that said, please do steroids.
Yes, I'm talking about not Alistair Overeem, Alistair Uberim. That is what I'm talking about because that guy was a fucking monster.
Okay.
And ever since USADA killed him, he wasn't the same. He was still good. He was
Yeah,
competitive.
how many people got a little bit smaller
Not
when
a
the
little
drug
bit.
testing
Not a little-
the drug
he-
testing started getting real strict?
He fractioned. He
look,
fractioned. of a
Wasn't that
size.
the thing about Chuck Liddell too that made him so watchable, so relatable? His body
He was just a
nothing
regular-
Oh,
impressive.
he was built like a truck driver.
Right?
Yeah.
He looked like he was coming out of the house, with his shirt off.
I see guys that cut their grass
hand.
all the time in rural Palm
Yeah.
Beach that look just like this guy.
But God forgive you if you roll up on that man and you talk shit.
Oh, yeah.
You going to sleep.
Yeah, he can punch. Chuck
You
Liddell
going
can
to
punch.
You
sleep.
made the mistake and you didn't bob and weave. Woo! Good night.
Okay.
But now I think it's kind of hard if you're arguing GOAT status. I
Yeah.
think it's kind of hard.
Greatest
to
of
argue.
all time.
I think it's kind of hard to argue against John Jones now.
I mean,
and I'm saying from a person who has criticized him his whole career.
It's John Jones with an asterisk that's larger than his name.
Yeah, that's true. But it's got to be John Jones.
But it's
Gotta be.
it's always going to be there. He fucked up enough that asterisk is always going to be next to his name.
Yeah. But the thing is, it'll be next to his name, but now we have to look at it as like the only guy that could ever beat him is himself.
I mean, if he reigns in heavyweight, because typically, and
Well, his next fight's going to be Stipe, the greatest of all time heavyweight.
typically in boxing, I think I'm correct in this, is that they peak at an older age in
Right.
heavyweight versus like middle and light.
Yeah, he's only 35.
So moving up to heavyweight is the right move for him, especially if he's going to win. It gives him a
mean,
couple more years.
He's the greatest light heavyweight champion of all time.
Of all the years that he lost with all the fucking around, this gives him a chance to be a heavyweight champ for an extended period of time if he doesn't fuck up.
I mean, look how good DC was at light heavyweight. Look how good he was. No one touched him except Jones. Beat him twice.
See, DC I like. DC is a guy I want to sit down and have a drink at a
I
bar
like DC
with.
too. I rooted for DC both times he fought Jones. But he has nothing for him. And the thing that's scary is like how much better Jones was in the rematches.
Jones just always had his number.
If you look at Alexander Gustafsson and you look at Daniel Cormier, John Jones fought them both.
Yeah.
Both of those times they went the distance in the first fight, and they were the Alexander Gustafsson fight, one of the greatest light heavyweight fights of all time.
Yeah, but he couldn't repeat it.
In the rematch, he smoked them.
Smoked him.
Head kick, knockout DC. Literally tackled DC or tackled Gustafsson and punched him unconscious.
Yeah.
He made it look easy with both of them in the rematch, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like I'm.
Yeah. No, I have to agree with you. He fucking devastated. If somebody came close to beating him, second time around was just not pretty.
And I don't think Stipe, getting towards the end of his career with the injuries and especially with the concussions he suffered against Ngannou, I don't think he's going to have anything for Jones.
I think.
And after watching the Gane performance, if even under the miracle that they got Francis Ngannou back under the UFC banner, I would not put my money against John Jones in that fight.
Okay.
And before this fight, I would have bet on Ngannou until I saw that fight Saturday night. I think that's unbelievable.
I think for me, greatest of all time. I'm trying not to look at the now, and I'm looking at it as a totality. For me, the fighter that had the aura of you can't touch him, you can't fuck with him. Anderson Silva.
in his prime,
Oof.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good vote.
Anderson
That's a good
Silva
vote.
in
That's-
his prime to me was the best pound for. He moved like you seen in the fucking movies, like he was in the Matrix. Boom, boom, boom,
Against Forrest
talking
Griffin?
shit.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang. He made Forrest Griffin run out of the fucking ring.
Yeah, he didn't want to talk after that knockout.
Yeah.
Forrest Griffin was a warrior, a fucking warrior. After
played
that,
with him.
he
He-
put UFC on the map.
Griffin
if you
got
ask me.
in there by that dog fight he had
Yeah.
With Bonner.
with
Rest
Bonner.
in peace.
Yep.
And then but that was one of the things where Silva was just outclassing people with striking.
Yeah.
Well, Chris Lieben, look at Chris Lieben. Chris Lieben had iron jaw, and he had
Yeah.
knocked out Vanderlei Silva. He had all these great fights. And then when Anderson Silva fought Chris Lieben, his debut fight in the UFC, he put Chris Lieben to sleep. And
wrecked
that's
him.
even when Joe Rogan said, "Holy shit,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this guy's here." Like,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're still seeing an evolution. You're seeing a lot of karate style kicks
Guys
and
coming back,
shooting
yeah.
in starting to come in.
But Lyoto
Where-
Machida was the godfather.
I
right?
mean,
was.
the first couple of years there, it really weeded down to jiu-jitsu and then kickboxing and
Some
then
judo.
Muay Thai, and then now it's wrestling, jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
Muay Thai.
I was gonna say,
And
well,
it's like-
wrestling,
and now
wrestling
you're-
played a big part too.
well,
It did.
another guy who's in the conversation or for GOAT, George St. Pierre.
Yes.
Everyone talks about how good of an MMA wrestler he was. His foundation style was Kyokushinkai karate.
I
Yeah.
mean,
He wears a karate gi out to all his fights.
I mean,
Yeah.
when you talk about almost all around, the most well-rounded.
GSP.
GSP.
Yeah, I mean,
GSP would be my number 2 for GOAT, in my opinion.
He made it a point to say, "Where's my weakness? Let's go work on it."
Yeah, there's one
Yeah.
reason. There's only one reason that, and this is like the kind of like the asterisk you said next to John Jones. Whereas John Jones, he can't fucking stay out of prison. GSP, the asterisk I put next to his name is the Matt Serra fight, the first one.
Yeah.
Where he got caught and knocked out. And actually, if you watch the way GSP fights, before he fought Matt Serra, he was a little reckless. He would get into exchanges. He took shots. After the Matt Serra fight, it was completely like, okay,
discipline.
When can I get him on the ground? When can I neutralize him as an opponent? He fought so much smarter after the Matt Serra fight.
So
but discipline does define him.
Yeah.
It really does.
And not only that, he was a gentleman in and out of the ring.
I don't think anyone ever conducted themselves better and as a representative of the sport.
A representative of just martial arts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So who's your pick for greatest of all time, in your opinion?
We got 2 pretty good picks so far.
Yeah? Yeah, don't fuck it up.
Those are my 3.
Well, I was thinking GSP, but you already said it.
No,
I
said
don't know.
Jones.
He
I
went
said
John Jones. I went Anderson Silva.
So
I really think, and he is a fun guest on a podcast. He is all about aliens.
He is all about it. He actually believes he was abducted.
Yeah,
he's got a story. He thinks he was abducted.
Way to make fun of that man's trauma to his skull.
He thinks he was abducted.
For all you know, he was abducted.
Yeah. Joe Rogan seems to believe.
Prove he hasn't been. Prove he hasn't been.
I can't prove he wasn't abducted.
Ian, quick, check his anus.
Get on over here, George. I got you.
We gotta check for various metals to see if you were probed.
There's nothing up there but maple syrup and Wayne Gretzky.
Now, we had a request from someone at the fair of something to talk about.
Okay.
Oh, we can do it quick.
And it was for video games and the rise of these painfully difficult, where it's almost like sadomasochism to yourself style of games,
like
where
Sekiro, Elden Ring, basically the From Software games.
Because originally, a lot of games were difficult in the arcade because they wanted you to keep spending money.
Quarters.
Right.
And
House of the Dead, shit like that.
So, but when they moved to the home console, it started becoming about story and gameplay, and then it started becoming more accessible. And in recent years, it started coming back with these game. I think the first game that I recall where they were like, "This game is going to be difficult just to be difficult," was with the Ninja Gaiden remake.
Right.
Oh yeah.
A couple years back, and then from there, you started getting like all these games from FromSoft where it's like, it's painfully difficult for no reason other than just to be difficult.
So that one Ninja Gaiden game, I never beat the first boss with the nunchucks. I never beat it.
I would say this. I would say that
Kick the shit out of me.
the market moves the sales. So if people are paying for these games, people will make these games.
Yeah.
If they're not paying to play them, then they're not going to make them. They're going to make and sell what they think is going to make them revenue.
Yeah, Sekiro was so fucking hard I returned it the day I bought it.
Yeah.
And I think it was because I didn't really give a shit about the story. It was dark and dreary. Like there was a dragon plague affecting the world. I didn't really get into the character or any of that. Elden Ring was so beautiful.
It's amazing because they were kind of niche games, and then you got Elden Ring, which sells like 20 million copies, I think, to date right now.
Elden Ring was so beautiful, and you could feel George R. R. Martin's influence on it. The story was so good that I did not give a shit that I was dying 100 times.
That it was George's influence behind it was that much to sell that many more copies?
His name definitely helped because you got all these Game of Thrones fans going, "Oh, this is what George has been working on, attached to for all these years." But I honestly think From Software does a great job. Right. And the Dark Souls lore has always been deep. It's always been dark, blah, blah. But you could definitely, I think, feel some of George's influence on this. Yeah. There was more of a European-style influence. The epicness was there. Yeah. The fucking Erd tree, and, like, you don't even know what the hell the Elden Ring is, but you're trying to break it. Like, like, and the bosses, some of them were forgiving. Some of them gave you some wiggle room. And one of the first bosses, I'm not even going to tell you who he is, play the damn game. When you get to him, that's the post. Yeah. That's where it's like, wait a minute. This is a From Software game. And I don't give a shit how hard you work to get to this boss. When you get to him, you know when you've gotten to him. Yeah. Because the fucking game changes. You're like, oh, shit. I died 50 plus times. Wow. 50 plus times before I turned around and went back and said, I need better gear. So I need more energy to level my character up. Yeah.
It was like committing suicide over and over again?
There's nothing. I had nothing for him.
So was your character's name Robin Williams? No. Thank you for joining us at the Sofa Kingdom podcast, where I never miss a beat, and I'm always talking shit about my favorite actors. You can find us on all your social media platforms at
Sofa Kingdom OFC,
and you can find us on YouTube,
Sofa Kingdom Podcast.
Ian, take us away.
Don't listen to us. You're wasting your time. Just go to church, read a book. What the fuck? What are you even doing?
It is boring.
You have nothing better to do than listen to us. Listen to this motherfucker.
Listen,
Shitting on
Mandalorian.
Robin Williams.
Watch the Mandalorian.
Your childhood.
Season
Jumanji, Flubber, Hook.
2,
all these great movies.
3.
You might have seen the Popeye movie. This guy is
Popeye.
shitting on all of that. Your childhood is meaningless, worthless.
Popeye? Nobody watches Popeye.
I saw
Nobody
Popeye.
remembers Popeye.
Who was in that? Wasn't that the ugly girl from The Shining?
I remember the Popeye
Robin
movie.
Williams'
I don't remember
mom?
who was in
I
it.
think what's her name played Olive Wood.
Oh, Val Kilmer?
Read a book. Don't watch us. Jesus God.
It wasn't a silent movie.
You're dying silently by listening to us.
I can't believe you didn't see that setup coming.
I fucking did. I thought there was really going to be some catastrophe.